Barbie was mid. I didn't like it.
I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world.
Life is plastic. It's fantastic.
It is fantastic, my friend. Fantastic, Maurice.
I would love
King
to hear.
Julian would fucking love that movie. King Julian probably hates women, and then he sees that shit, and he's like, this has changed my heart, Maurice.
I don't think his hatred just extends to women. I think his hatred extends to everybody that's just not him.
Well, yes, but like, I don't know.
He's pretty equal with his hatreds, I feel.
Just seems like... Let me move that back. It just seems like the kind of movie that would be dumb enough, or would be aesthetic or dumb enough, or how do I describe this? Like the kind of movie that's like sort of kiddie enough and like blatant in its messaging, like to trick a dumb fuck like him into thinking like it is so deep, Maurice. It has changed me from the inside.
It speaks to me, Maurice.
From now on, I will love the women more than myself. And then he like overcompensates and shit for it, you know?
And he wears the sweater. I'm Knuff.
No, he would change it. I am Julie enough. I am Julie enough, Maurice.
I'm Julie enough, Maurice.
And you cannot tell me otherwise, you stupid misogynist.
And if you hate this movie, you are a misogynist pig. And I'll cut your balls off, Maurice.
Mort, you must watch the film again. And this time I would like an essay
But we've watched it for 10 times. I do not want to watch anymore.
I'm tired. Please.
You will watch it again, Mort.
I'm tired of seeing Ryan Gosling cry.
You will watch it until you learn that you are enough, Maurice. And I want essays in triplicate.
All right, guys. Welcome to
the Double
today's
D Experience
episode of Double D Experience with your hosts. We're here to...
Are you enough? Dennis, are you enough?
No,
did you realize you are enough?
No, because I thought it would be funny if we just skipped our names and we just went on to talk about the fucking thing. I don't know why I thought that would be funny.
It's because we're men and we need to realize...
we just clearly, we're superfluous, just like Ken.
And before seeing the movie, we did not realize we were enough. All right, Dennis. I saw Barbie last week. I talked about it last week already. We're gonna concise it a little. Dennis saw it with his girlfriend.
Yeah, who is
Jenoff?
I watched it with my girlfriend. Basically, yeah. Like, I guess just to add some context, I went to go see it yesterday. Saw it on Tuesday, half movie night. You know, just gotta get them deals, of course, because fucking movie tickets be expensive, my guys. It's actually it'd be pretty expensive. And went to go watch it. I wore pink. I wore like a pink fucking shirt that barely fit me because like I'm getting fat. And no, bro, I couldn't even close the shirt. Like I think it was a small. I'm clearly a large now, but like some shirts in my closet just don't fit me no more. So like I literally just like had to wear it like I wore it like how you would like a jacket, this shirt.
Yeah.
And I just had like a white undershirt underneath. And so we went with her sister, and we were just kind of sitting together and we were watching it. And not really gonna give you like a play-by-play of like my thoughts throughout the whole movie, but I will say this, by the end of the movie, I just knew this movie was not for me. It was just not my cup of tea. And like to everyone again who did enjoy it and who got something out of it, you know, obviously kudos to you. Like I can't take nothing away from you. It's just, again, I personally feel, and I know David said the opposite of this, but I personally thought that Oppenheimer is, in my opinion, the more culturally significant movie, and two, also just I don't know, better made. I know David like said different on last week's podcast, which you guys didn't really show a lot of love. I'm kind of disappointed in you guys on that, but you know, maybe this one will do a little better.
Yeah, you know, algorithms.
But like I don't know, like me and my girlfriend, when we were driving, like, you know, we were like kind of silent for a bit, because for me, I was quiet because I wanted to hear her thoughts first, because I already kind of had like, you know, some thoughts about the movie in mind already. But then she spoke first and said, I don't think that movie was for me. She literally spoke the exact thoughts that I had. And like,
Right.
we, again, like this doesn't stem from like, oh, like we hated the movie or whatever. Nothing like that. It was just more like, we found a couple parts funny. We found a couple parts like very touching. At the very least, like I still thought like this movie was not made for me. This movie was made for, I think it goes without saying, primarily women. And like, you know, for a lot of dudes who were watching this, like, I'm pretty sure, like, even just across the board, like, our viewpoints on, like, certain parts of the movie would be vastly different than, let's say, like, a lot of women who watched it. Just because a lot of the movie is about, like, the women's expectations in society and, like, how a lot of that has, like, kind of just become so frustrating for them to deal with. And, like, it just gets to the point where it's so maddeningly annoying that, like, you know, we had like America's whole like monologue near like the end of the movie where she just like kind of just goes off about like that whole societal expectations and such.
Yeah.
And like, you know, it wasn't obviously lost on me or even my girlfriend, but like there was this one girl who, after that monologue, she was literally right next to me to my left, and she was just like,
There's always
I was
that
just
one.
like, I'm just like, yo, if that, you know, whatever. Like, I can't say nothing about it. Like, that, again, I'm just saying this. Like, I know people may say, like, well, everyone has a right to criticize anything. And it's true. And even, like, I guess, like, talk about anything, right? But, like, for me, it's just, like, I didn't get a lot out of it compared to, let's say, other people. Just because, at least, like, again, it just didn't, like, kind of, resonate with me the same way that, like, let's say Oppenheimer did. And I think that's just because, like, again, they're completely different movies at the end of the day. And like, I even thought, like, if me and my girlfriend did do the double feature, I honestly think it might have soured my experience with Oppenheimer just a little bit. Because the movie is just such a fucking jarring, like, like not even 180, like a 20-70 degree turn that like it would feel so like I just came out of a movie that like literally gave you a bit of like just existential dread about like, you know, just obviously nuclear holocausts, but now we're like in this more like kind of like veiled more cheerful kind of movie just in terms of vibes off of the first 20 minutes. And then obviously it goes into like a lot of real world shit that like obviously women deal with, and obviously like the whole thing about like how what Barbie was supposed to be and what she actually is, or like what she turned out to be, and like that whole conversation. And I'll even like say that the parts, like if I was to split it up where the parts of the movie that took place in Barbie Land and then parts of the movie that took place in the real world, the parts that took place in Barbie Land were infinitely more interesting than anything that happened in the real world.
I could not possibly agree more.
Like,
yeah.
It was...
I kind of wanted the whole movie to be like
that's
that,
what
but obviously it couldn't be.
That's why, like, you know, I'm so glad you said that, because, like, I heard a lot of people say that the parts of the real world was actually, like, people really liked that part compared to the Barbie world parts, which I found so odd considering, like, it's just way more interesting them being there. Like, even just going off of aesthetics alone, like, you know, I wanted them to be there more than they were in the real world.
Yeah.
And they even just kind of, like, almost caricatured the real world. I mean, like, you know, all the shit that, like, she goes through in the first 5 minutes of when she gets to the real world, like, getting catcalled, her ass slapped, like, among other shit, like, being made fun of because of the way they dress and everything.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I understand, like, you know, as far as, like, what that was meant to convey. But, like, it was just so, like, for me, like, I was bored. Not like, so much to the point that I was falling asleep. But, like, I wanted them to go back to Barbie Land. Like, as soon as they arrived, I was like, go back to Barbie Land.
I was in the same way.
Equally more, it was infinitely more interesting than whatever the fuck they're doing here.
5 to 10 minutes of the film, and part of the reason I like Barbie better because it sort of follows the monomyth a little bit more of establishing good world building. Because the movie was just way more unique than Oppenheimer. That's really the main reason I enjoyed it. Like, Oppenheimer is still a really great film because it's still a fucking Nolan film.
Yeah.
And like it still wasn't bad. It just wasn't one of Nolan's.
And he always delivers.
Yeah, he always delivers, and it just wasn't one of his better films in my opinion. I just liked his other shit infinitely more.
Yeah.
And Barbie I liked more just because it was way more unique world building, and that's why I was sad too when we sort of left Barbie Land, because like introducing like the first 5-10 minutes of the movie established the universe of this fucking movie perfectly. Like, it's like, this is what this movie's about. It's like this weird, interesting, artificial, aesthetic matriarchy.
Plasticky ass, like, the fucking world that,
which
like, I loved
is even
so
a
much.
word, fucking matriarchy? Because if it's
no,
not,
it
needs to be a word. Yeah, because that's
word.
what the world is. It's like a matriarchy in a sort of twisted sort of way, where it's like everything is so... It's got like fucking Austin Powers vibes with how fucking stupid it is.
And yeah,
that's
how goofy it is. Like
how she floats down from her house, which is supposed to represent her being like taken down like by the hands of a child down to the street and stuff. How she wakes up, puts her hands up, like drinks everything fake aesthetically, pretends to drink something. Like the fact that like she opens her fridge and it's just a sticker. It's just like a decal of like food in there. Like
even
it was
the fucking
cool.
car, even the car too. Like that's the thing. Like that whole
it left you on edge as to what these characters were gonna say. You know what I mean? Because like it's like very unrealistic in this artificial world, which like leads more interest, a little bit more intrigue and surprise. That's why Barbie says like, "Hey, y'all ever think about death? It's just fucking perfect." That's why that shit was perfect when she said that shit.
Not to mention even like there
she
was
broke the meta.
I mean, the whole movie was nothing but like meta humor from like start to finish.
Yeah,
like I
every
think they
toy
did.
movie does that. It's the same with the Lego movie,
and like the
nonconformity. Yeah,
the fact of the matter was that like I know that they needed to put human characters. That was not lost on me. But frankly, like I wanted to know more. Like at least just kind of see Barbie more than practically anyone else. Like anytime anyone like had their own scene that wasn't Barbie, I was just like, no, get the fuck out of here. I want to see Barbie. Like, and like she was obviously like just kind of like the blank slate character. The almost like fish out of water, obviously.
Literally
like,
stereotypical Barbie, yes. Like she's supposed to be like the default one, yeah.
Just like seeing her like kind of like okay, I'm gonna fast forward because we're gonna linger on this way too long. But
it's okay.
The last part that really like it didn't annoy me, but I just felt as if this part wasn't so much earned. It was the last scene between her and Ruth before she turns human. And she holds her hand and everything, and like she kind of sees like just all these like kind of not like stock footage, but like it was apparently footage that like Greta, the director, basically collected from the crew and plus even Margot Robbie of like their family, just like of their moms and like just kind of like how growing up as a woman, like, you know, being a mom and all of that, like how it is and like how, you know, beautiful and rewarding and even just kind of like it's just so priceless, like how it can be, like how priceless it can be. And, you know, after that we get that scene where she goes to the gynecologist and like they cut the film from there. And personally for me, like, you know, I don't know if that part was earned so much in my opinion, only because that like this film and the way they wrapped up everything was just kind of, I don't even want to say rushed, I guess, but like, cause I walked away from it like kind of thinking like, all right, it was an ending. Like, you know, at least they did something. Because, like, you know, again, like, it looked like everyone's things was going to get, like, kind of resolved in a way. Like, all their problems are basically solved and, like, everyone's just kind of, like, you know, finally go about their lives. But the last question being is, like, what do we do with Barbie? Because, like, she's gone through clearly something traumatic, right?
Yeah.
And, like, she doesn't know who she is anymore because like I'm not stereotypical Barbie no more. I'm not ordinary Barbie no more. And for me, it's like, yes, she went about like she knew these two human characters for all about 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
And like she's seen enough of the world where it's just so clearly fucked up. Like, in every sense of the word, like, societally speaking, it's just so fucked. And she hears about, like, all the shit that women go through, like, every day, and, like, just how frustrating it could be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, like, if I was her, being a human would not have been the first choice I'd made off of that.
Can I answer why I think she did it?
Yeah.
She's stereotypical Barbie.
Mhm.
She's a toy, she's a doll, so she's never meant to be in the real world until she goes to like fix her kid and stuff.
Yeah.
And so her being stereotypical Barbie, she doesn't have a purpose. She's not Dr. Barbie, she's not astronaut Barbie,
Yeah.
she's not Chef Barbie, none of these things, right? So that's why she feels lost at the end of the movie, because she's like a broken meta toy. She's not supposed to learn what misogyny is. She was never supposed to see the real world.
Or just the real world in general.
She realized her purpose was always to be to help a child, to help a little girl. And that's the whole fucking plot of the movie. That's the inciting incident of the whole fucking film, is that she goes to help her little girl because like she's having thoughts about death, and so she knows her little girl is sad. So when she goes to go see her and sees what the world is like, and at the end doesn't know what her purpose is, that's the whole reason she chooses to become an actual woman, Dennis. Is because
it wouldn't
that's
have been my first choice, though.
No, exactly, if she was a lesser person. But the reason she does is because that's how she's gonna fulfill her purpose. Her whole purpose was to help a child, help a little girl realize she could be anything, and when she realizes she's stereotypical Barbie after learning about misogyny, she can't do that. It seems pretty clear-cut that the biggest and most profound and powerful way she could have done that is to give up her immortality, give up, like, you know, her lack of purpose of being a stereotypical Barbie, and become the very thing that she set out to save in the first place. So if anything, I actually think it's perfect that she became like a human. Like, it was the best way she could have fulfilled her purpose after everything she went through. Because a Barbie doll isn't normally supposed to see what the real world is like, and then when she does, and she sees that women not only do not rule here, but, like, they're kind of considered lesser citizens in a lot of parts of the world, and to an extent America as well, in, like, the first world. That was the best way she could have fulfilled her inner purpose in the first place. If anything, it came full circle. Which is why I appreciated that shit.
I know, that's fair. I'm just saying, though, like, knowing, like, her just coming from a completely different world, right? And seeing, like, what our world is like, and just how it, like, let's say, like, treats women.
Yeah.
Just off the bat, right? My gut reaction my first reaction would not be, oh yeah, let me turn myself into a woman and put myself in that world and see everything that it has to, like, kind of basically throw at me in that world. When when she already knows that, like, it is horrifying in like, every way.
From a pragmatic standpoint, it's like, why the fuck would you do this?
Yeah, exactly. That's just off of me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because objectively, right? If I had to choose between, let's say, this cushy, not like, I guess not like really cushier, right? But it's just like, at the very least, like, this world is routine as fuck. It's like when Squidward went to that neighborhood and, like, everyone's the fucking same. Like, it's like that sort of way. And, like,
Canned bread.
I even thought, like, oh, it would have been, I thought, like, another kind of ending for her would have been, like, bro, like, it really is.
Right. It was literally Tentacle
It's Squidward's
Acres.
neighborhood.
Where
It's
happiness
Squidward's
is just a suction cup away.
Oh, fuck, that hurt my gut. Oh,
But I even thought, like, maybe a more
it's the same thing. It's like Too Much Paradise at the end. She goes
I
through
know.
her Squidward arc.
But that's why I'm saying, like, I figured a more appropriate role or a more appropriate ending would have been for her not to become a human straight away. But at the very least, like, I mean, maybe Mattel might make a sequel, I don't know, but,
Can
like,
I tell you
let's say-
something? They're trying to set up a toy cinematic universe.
Okay, I know, they said Hot
they
Wheels
are.
and shit like that,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but at least for Barbie, right? I figured another kind of, not like, I'm not saying, like, okay, I'm not better than Greta Gerwig, like, who made the movie. I'm not saying, like, I'm a
It would
writing
have been
genius.
funny as fuck if you were the one who directed that movie. Holy shit. That would have been amazing.
I thought of this kind of ending, right?
Yeah.
I thought that, like, she clearly has no idea what she wants, right? Before she's given the choice of, like, you know, do you want to be a real human? I figured, like, oh, like, let her go out into the world, like, by herself and go explore. Like, let her go on, like, a fulfilling journey of her own. Like, not...
She already did.
No. Like, going to see, like, more parts of the world. She only went to Santa Monica. She went to one part of the world and she thinks, oh yeah, I know everything
but it wouldn't
about
have been
everything.
a good plot point for her to have a whole ass movie and be like, do I want to become human? That would be a pretty cheap sequel, don't you think?
No, because I feel as if like that's a big decision in the end. Like I'm literally gonna turn into a completely different person. It's not even talking metaphysical. She's literally gonna turn from a doll to a human being.
But that's what
a
makes it
huge
so
fucking
impactful.
decision.
Like Ruth literally tells her, you know, humans do not live forever. Like you're gonna die now one day if you do this. And she was completely fine with it. Dennis, if they had like a whole nother thing where they'd be like, oh, you want to test the grounds first? That takes away all the risk. That'd be lame as fuck.
I know.
That
I'm
takes
just
away
saying,
the...
Because this is why I pretexted it by saying that, look, this movie was not my cup of tea. And like, I know it's very presumptuous of me saying like, oh yeah, I would have done this better or whatever. I'm not saying that at all, but it's more so just kind of like, again, this movie was not for me. Clearly not, because like maybe I even thought like, because my girlfriend, even like we were both kind of just like thinking about it, right? And like she said at first, where like she's like, am I just too dumb? Am I just like too dumb to understand this movie? And like we're both kind of like, you know, I think I kind of just brought it back and just said like, look, I don't think it's that. I think it's really just like we just didn't. This movie was just not for us. And we could say all our opinions on it all we want. And like, you know, what? At the end of the day, Greta's winning more than Nolan because she has a bigger box office for the movie than fucking Oppenheimer. Mm-hmm. So at the very least, it's like, look, maybe she did something right. I can't say anything against that.
Yeah.
But it's more so just like, look, at the end of the day, if you enjoyed Barbie, fucking by all means watch it 3-4 more times, by all means. Like, I'm not taking nothing away from you guys. All I'm saying is that this movie was clearly not meant for me.
All good.
Because like, you know, that's about it. Like, I think it's just that simple.
There if you loved that's
it
simple.
Yeah, and if you loved it, fuck, like, watch it again more. Give more money to Greta. Make Mattel want to make more like fucking toy movies. Maybe they will make a Hot Wheels movie and it'll literally just be a shitty ripoff of like Cars. I don't know, maybe.
The historian liked the history movie more.
Yeah, like it's just that's all it is. It's simple.
The non-historian liked the aesthetic movie better.
But you like your history movies too. I know you.
No, not nearly as much as you, dude.
Well, that one about Edison.
My father is a huge history buff, and like a lot of those movies were boring as fuck to me. Though, if you're talking about The Prestige, then yes, I love that movie. That movie I love, but it's like movies like hardly about history. It just has Nikola Tesla in it. It's about two magicians who hate each other and keep trying to kill each other in their tricks. That's what that movie's actually about.
Sounds like a Harry Potter prequel.
Yeah.
Two magicians trying to kill each other.
Speaking of movies, my last fucking weekend was a movie.
Oh.
I went to SmashCon. And on top of the couple of people who walked up to me who recognized me from my videos, thank you. That was really sweet of y'all to do that. That happened twice, which is 2 more times than I thought it would. Fuck! I should have made the joke. I should have said like if
it's
I
like that Nichols joke.
Yeah, fucking A, man. I should have said it. If I had
which isn't that much, but it's a lot more. It's just strange that it happens that often.
If I had a nickel for every time like someone walked up to me at Super Smash Con 2023 and said they liked me my old top 10 Smash Brothers YouTube videos, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. Yeah, and they were talking to me how about like this one kid like was talking about how much he disagreed with like one point I made and stuff, and like it's 5 years ago. I don't agree with like some of the shit I said back then either. I really should make some of those videos to promote the podcast if I didn't, you know, grow to kind of dislike making those videos or like anymore. But decisions for me to make when I come to them over 5 years of old content. But every day I did a different thing, and it was awesome. And I'll just give it a buck.
Yeah,
I had to come a long way to come back to SmashCon again, man. Not just physically, but also like mentally, because last time I was there with my girlfriend, and you know, that was a very special time for me and whatnot. I was literally thinking to myself about how the last time in that hotel I was, you know, just fucking balls deep and like just actually enjoying myself, you know, with someone I loved and whatnot, and how literally the last time I was in this hotel I was doing something very, very, very different. But here's the funny thing. I was in that hotel again this weekend, and this was the highlight of this fucking weekend for me, among many other things, and I'll talk about that as concisely as I can. The main Smash game that I play nowadays is called Huge Raw Remix. It is a mod of Smash Ultimate. It is not the official one. Dennis, have you ever heard of PM, like Project Melee or P+?
I've heard of Project Melee.
Yeah, it's basically the Project Melee of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. For all the people who like grew to hate Ultimate, basically, like I did after years.
So
of
it brings like Melee mechanics.
But
Ultimate?
not copycat of Melee. Like it has wave dashing, it doesn't have L canceling, it has shield dropping. Like basically a lot of quality.
Faster too.
Yeah, a lot faster. Like quality of life improvements from like Smash Ultimate that I like way more in HDR, and it has quite a scene in Tri-State. Tri-State is the best in the world at that game. You cannot fucking tell me we aren't. Like the results speak for themselves. And here's the thing. SmashCon used to be sponsored by Nintendo. They might still be. I'm pretty sure they're not. Mods are not allowed in the venue. Like, they're literally not allowed in the venue. So you're thinking, like, where would we even have this bracket? Well, simple. In the hotel that 4 years ago I was doing something much more enjoyable. And here, we thought this shit was gonna get shut down. I go in, and like there's mad gamers in the lobby. I'm like, they're gonna kick us out. So what we literally have to do is like their room is on the second floor, and we're going up and down and up and down and up and down, back and forth to go up to the hotel room when it's time for us to play, so we wouldn't have too many people in there. We wound up having 10 setups crammed into one hotel room, and I gotta send this picture to Dennis now because this is, and I'll put it on screen for sure because this was literally the highlight of the fucking actual weekend for me. I played a Smash Brothers competitive set in a bathroom. Bask in its glory.
Nintoonist, please put this picture up.
Of the professional gamer movements.
Please put this picture up. It is the most jankiest fucking setup I have ever seen.
It's one for the history books, isn't it?
Good fucking lord.
We propped the monitor up on the fucking marble countertop, and we played HDR. We played competitive Smash Brothers in a goddamn bathroom.
It's hilarious. Oh my god.
I actually I had the Melty Blood experience. It was amazing.
What is that?
There was a Melty Blood tournament that I think got canceled like last minute, like after a bunch of people were already there. It might have been an Evo or something.
This was at SmashCon this year?
No. Many years ago.
Okay.
Many years ago. And those fuckers set up the tournament like an off the stream, off bracket side tournament in the bathroom. Those motherfuckers were playing on toilets and shit. Literally propped the monitor up like over urinals and stuff like that. It was nasty. Like actually nasty. And I got to have the Melty Blood experience, and let me tell you, this was the highlight of the weekend for me. Because it was peak degeneracy. Peak fucking degeneracy. I won that set, by the way.
I mean, it's pretty funny, like, no matter how you swing it. And, this actually goes into, this actually relates to, not something that I participated in, but more so something that, like, I was just kind of, watching, like, kind of on the side, because I didn't have enough time to, like, kind of stream the whole event. Not Smash, but more so for Yu-Gi-Oh! And, it was Yu-Gi-Oh! Worlds, Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship, 2023, I believe it was like a good couple weeks ago. And I think it was like maybe last week that it was. And I was streaming it. And I was streaming, I think, the still rounds of Swiss by that time. And if I could pull up a great picture just for David to see. But essentially, y'all would think like, okay, it's a world championship, right?
Yeah.
Y'all would think, okay, like it would be like at a bit more of a prestigious venue, right? Just a bit. Like you'd think that, right?
Yeah.
You know, you flying out these motherfuckers who like are coming from all around the world, and like, you know, you'd think you would put them up in like a bit more of a little pretty prestigious kind of venue, right? Like Hotel Tokyo, like something, right?
I would simply imagine, yes. I would think that what's the kind of stuff that would be going down in a place like that.
Let me tell you guys, it was not that at all. It was, they were hosting rounds of Swiss in a back office that was basically empty. They had random fucking chairs and tables set up, and...
Do you not have a pic?
Dang, I think they had like maybe a live stream, but this is essentially what it looked like. I am not even joking. This is honestly.
You ever fucking no clip out of reality and then just land in a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament for the fucking back rooms?
This was like, I mean, I found it funny because like this is supposed to be like Worlds, right? Like, you know, this is the fucking end all be all of this season's like competition. But they fucking like
seems more like the Outer Worlds.
They hosted all 28 of them that showed up for this. They hosted them in this fucking shitty back office. You even saw stacked chairs in the background. That's how fucking terrible it looked.
You know, it's funny because that also reminds me of another Smash tournament. I'm actually going to be heading down there in about 2 weeks. Shine 2023. It's the
Where's
last
that?
one. That is in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Oh, you're going to Mass. Oh shit.
Yeah, Worcester, Massachusetts. I've been there a couple times already, right? And I wish I could have commentated the event, but I don't get chosen for shit like that, really. And Shine 2017 was my first major ever. Gorgeous venue. It was at like the fucking like Aquatic Trade Center, the famous Aquatic Trade Center in the heart of Boston. Gorgeous venue, ridiculous amount of space, carpeting everywhere. First major ever. It was magical, right? And not to mention the stories from that event as well. After 2018, I guess Shine just ran out of money.
Oh boy.
And they started having it at this venue in Worcester. It's not in Boston anymore, which is closer to me, I guess, but like at the same time,
guessing like a couple more minutes, couple minutes less of a drive.
It was not even the drive, man. It just was not as prestigious, to say the least. And the reason I'm saying this is because this is literally the last Shine. They announced it a couple of months ago that they're shutting down after this as well. So that's really
just
big
no
reason.
Money, I guess. Like,
yeah, I would imagine. Like this is pretty much the reason why I'm even going in the first place. And I'm only gonna go there for like a day. I'm heading up on Saturday and then leaving on Sunday. And yeah. And here's the thing, man. I remember being at that venue because, again, the same girlfriend that I was talking about at the time that I had to even, you know, that wasn't even like the only thing stopping me from going to events for a while. It was also my back. You know, I made a lot of progress, like I can't do long drives no more. So beyond getting over her, like after COVID and shit, I also had to overcome
a bad back.
My bad back really was the main thing stopping me from going to these events. And I did the 4.5 hour drive. I felt pretty good afterwards. I felt more pain in the 2.5 hours I drove back splitting with my buddy. And I was able to do it, and I didn't let it stop me like an old man. And I felt I really worked hard to get in better shape to overcome this.
Proud of you,
and,
bro.
And I was really proud of myself as well to be able to do that, because I did a lot of networking, bought a lot of merch and stuff. I had so much great stuff that I was able to do because I was able to work out and overcome that. And also, not a relationship that ended 3.5 years ago that would mentally stop me from going
Ancient
somewhere.
history.
That'd be kind of fucking sad if it still did.
Yeah.
That's like the point.
Not
where,
important no more.
That's the point where, like, if you're like 3.5 years and you're not over your fucking ex, you gotta like. That's like prime therapist time. That's when you actually like gotta.
You need to touch some grass or something.
Maybe
like, something.
Touch some ass, more like it.
Yeah.
The point is, SmashCon overcame a lot for me, and Shine was my first major ever, right? So it seems fitting I go to the last one ever. But that same girlfriend back in 2019 when I was with her, she really wanted to go to Shine, so I'm like, yeah, let's go. I'll take you. Let's go. And we did. This was the first year that Shine was no longer in that amazing venue anymore, and now it was in some kind of shitty looking warehouse in Worcester, which had mosquitoes and stuff everywhere. And it was kind of bad. Not only because the stream setup was insanely laggy from what the players have said and complained about at that event, but also because straight up, parts of the venue weren't lit. Like,
it was just darkness?
Yeah, like it was kind of like dark in like some certain spots of the venue. Like, Dennis, do you remember the fucking SpongeBob episode, like where like they all become superheroes and Barnacle Boy's like, I'm going over to the dark side. And you're in the Krusty Krab and he like half of it is like fucking not even lit. You remember that shot?
Yeah.
Hey, you know, why waste money lighting the whole store? That's how it fucking felt. It's like, why waste money lighting the whole fucking...
Mr. Krabs hosted Shine.
He absolutely did. Which, by the way, I'm so sad. They made Plankton playable, which is hype as fuck, don't get me wrong, in the new Nasby game.
Mm-hmm.
But not Mr. Krabs, goddamn.
Might be DLC for later on.
No, he's in the background of one of the stages. So I'm hoping that's not the case. Yeah, I'm hoping they just say fuck that and they make him playable. Which sucks. I mean, I guess Plankton makes more sense. Plankton's like in a mech, basically.
But he's not even like in that big of a mech either. It's like he's still like up to my knee.
No, it's a sizable enough mech, alright.
Compared to what? Like some fucker like Squidward?
God, the memes for that are amazing because Mr. Krabs, it's the Poseidon, basically, like with the burger, that's the stage. Like, from, from that, and Mr. Krabs was on the sidelines, like, cheering on. Like, it's the setting where, like, the SpongeBob and Patrick had that boxing match at the Olympics. At the
Food Olympics.
At the Fry Cook Games.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
And,
win
like,
this one, because I told you to.
Imagine Mr. Krabs just yelling, like, all this, like, this fighting game terminology to you, like, Mr. Squidward, you missed your fucking tech!
Or he just screams
That's not
out,
safe on block, Mr. Squidward!
Or you like, I know this was Plankton's line, but it like one of the funniest lines I've always heard was like when he's like, "Win this one because I told you to, because you told me to."
Win this one because I told you to, because you told me to. Iconic shit. But point is, Shine kind of fell off a little. And that's okay. You know, they're still able to put on amazing events. It was still fun. Money matched a lot of people. I'm only going up for like one day, staying at an Airbnb with my boys to play HDR at that bracket because they were going to drive there and back same day. And yeah, nah. That's a bat nah. I'm too old for that shit. Way too fucking old for that shit.
I want to fall asleep on the wheel. Oof.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring up Shine real quick before I guess I started talking about SmashCon some more.
But also one thing. Worlds did redeem themselves because at least the finals was on a proper stage with a big ass crowd. So at the very least, they did redeem themselves. But I also heard that other worlds in the past were essentially the same way. Shitty back rooms for Swiss, and then like when you're into the finals, big fucking stage, which I mean, I guess thematically it kind of makes sense, but it's so funny because there was this one guy who memed on Worlds this year, and it was like him and his friend playing like they were doing a skit, and like the dude shows up to like the guy's garage, and he's like, "Oh, yo, welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! Worlds. We're so excited to see you. We're gonna there's gonna be some amazing dueling. It's gonna be great." And like the guy's in his shitty garage, and like he has like these Fisher Price ass fucking tables set up like in his garage, and he's just like, "It's like, oh yeah, this is where you're gonna be dueling. It's gonna be great. Like, you know, it's gonna be some high octane fucking dueling." The guy's just like, "Wait, oh, so like, is it not like, you know, is a venue not past these doors?" No, this is it.
I can't wait to work in esports, the most lucrative industry in the world.
And mind you, for anyone who's even played or even knows anything about competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, there is no monetary prizing for the finalists of competitions. It is always either prize cards, playmats, and other, I guess, like trophies. Obviously, you'd get those as well. But like, you know, other than that, like there is no monetary prizing.
That's a Japan thing. They're not allowed to give out cash money for prizes.
That, and also because the original creator of the anime and plus even the game himself, Kazuki Takahashi, he on his like I think not on his dying not his dying wish, but like essentially he was interviewed many times about this whole thing because everyone was kind of like always harping on the company and even kind of partly him that we want like a monetary incentive to go out and play this game competitively because like at the end of the day, this is a very, very expensive ass trading card game.
Oh yeah.
And you could run up to at least 4 digits. Again, like I mentioned before in our old Tier 0 episode, which if you guys want to check that out, feel free. People will be paying up to like rent's worth of money to play a deck. And like it like kind of creates this sort of like argument of like, oh, like we're just dropping all this money to play this game competitively, right? And you know, we're not even gonna get like a cash prize out of it. And what Kazuki basically had said was that I don't want money anywhere near this game at all. Because he figured that it would ruin the essence of the game. And I mean, to his credit, I kind of get where he's coming from. And I think for a game like this, where it's sort of kind of like, I mean, it's already like fairly competitive as it is. And like, if anyone's ever been to like a regionals or wherever, like, you know, you just kind of know like there is like, this game can be cutthroat as hell sometimes, and like, David just basically sent me. Yeah, he sent me the placements and
another. I literally played more. I played more Smash 4 this weekend than any other game.
And he was the only Mario of the entire fucking top 25, baby.
Oh, you say that like it means something.
Oh, it does mean something, because everyone out here be running.
I got 25th in Smash 4. I got top 32, which is pretty hype.
I feel like that one meme where like Ken Jeong's like fucking squinting at that little small ass fucking piece of paper, because I can't tell a lot of these icons, like these characters right off of their icons.
Yeah, the Smash 4
Rosalina,
icons.
I don't know, Cloud? I think that's Cloud.
Yeah.
Pikachu, Diddy, Rosalina.
Yeah.
Sonic.
Yeah.
Snake.
Yeah, and there's no Snake. I guarantee there's no Snake, because he was not in that game.
That might be Ike.
No, it's Little Mac.
No, the one in 17th Mega.
Oh, 17? Oh, yeah, no, that's my boy Mega. He lives around here, actually. I played with him a lot, yeah. Yeah, no, I got top 32 in Smash 4.
BBW.
That's the guy who fucking beat me.
How do you call that out on the brackets? It's like, and the 9th place, BBW.
Can I keep it a stack with you, Dennis?
Yes.
I lost to him. He's the guy who sent me to losers.
You lost to a fat bitch. That was a terrible joke. I'm sorry. Obviously, very proud
you
and wide
from
woman.
Barbie. Fucking asshole.
Clearly not. Not.
But no, honestly, I had way more fun just like playing Smash 4, because like that was the game I started competing in Smash Brothers in. Not the first Smash game I played. I played Smash since I was like 6, but like it's the first like Smash game I competed in back in like 2015 when I got started. And I grew up on that game with the commentary. It's where I grew to become one of my region's most well-known casters, among other things, and made my friends, you know, had my relationships, stuff like that. And honest to God, after years of playing that game, I'm impressed with myself with how much I remembered.
Ooh.
I really fucking wish that they chose me.
Tell me about this.
I really fucking wish that they chose me to commentate Smash 4.
Rather than play.
Honestly, yes. Because like that,
Explain.
I remembered so much. Because that was my heyday, man. It felt like an old man playing with his cassette player.
No, keep going. I want to hear this.
I played Smash 4 with like a bunch of like my ultimate friends and stuff. We were having fun. They were like, "Oh, this game's so shit. I can't believe you played this for years, blah blah blah." And like they were just making all sorts of jokes, and then I screamed at them to let an old man play with his cassette player, and they all started cracking up. We had a lot of fun playing dubs, talking shit. And what I mean by remember is that I'm just impressed with all the little nuances that I remembered. Like I remembered that certain moves, when you're low enough of percent, you can hit them with a certain attack and it will lock them on the platform. And if you knock them off of the platform while they're jab locked, it sends them into a pratfall where they're still jab locked once they land on center stage, which basically means they're inactive the entire time. Specifically a Smash 4 thing. I remembered that and executed that in bracket in a game I have not played in like 5 fucking years. I remembered extended dash dancing. Like, I remembered you had to, like, tap the control stick forward again after a foxtrot to dash back again if you want to do a normal dash dance, which is simplified to shit in Ultimate. It's better in Ultimate. Like, it's way easier to do, but I remembered you have to take that extra step. Remembered you have to jump cancel smash attacks, like a lot of the basic stuff. I just remembered everything. I competed in that game for so long that it was like riding a bike. A horrible, beautiful, fucking terrifying bike. And what I mean by that is that Smash 4, like, you had to be a psychopath to compete in that game. And a game with rage, a Tekken mechanic, that was way too overtuned in Smash 4. You died at unholy percents in a game with 2 stocks.
It was a 2-stock only.
Only 2
format.
stocks in that game, because the weird thing about Smash 4 is that, yeah, there were a bunch of, like, insane jank in that game. Like, but, like, on top of that, the game was also pretty slow. If it was 3 stocks in certain matchups, would just take way too fucking long, and it would have been a problem. So
compared to even Brawl? Like slow, like in terms of slowness?
No, Brawl was even slower.
Okay.
We sort of overcompensated at the beginning of Smash 4 to like make it 2 stocks. But in a game with Rage, it just made like really crazy comebacks happen way too easily. Like I killed people with Mario's forward smash, which is a crazy strong move because of max rage at like unholy percents, like 60, like 70, like across like center stage.
Oh,
like
wow. That's like nothing.
The game was ridiculous. Like I gripe on Smash Ultimate a lot. I shit on that game a lot. I still think it's kind of a better game than Smash 4, but I learned there are a lot of things I do like about Smash 4 better. For instance, I was confirmed by playing that game again after all the things I said online just from seeing screenshots. Smash 4 visually looked way better than Ultimate. Graphically, it was a better game. It was absolutely a better game. Yeah, the colors were way more brighter and saturated. Ultimate, like, there's way more shading and it's a little more shadowy and stuff like that. And the reason is because they had to port a Smash game to their actual new console that fucking sold units as opposed to the Wii U. So a lot of the assets... I keep forgetting,
Smash 4 is a Wii U game.
That's why we had another Smash game so soon after Smash 4. Because the latest Smash game was stuck on a dead console.
Can I also say, Smash Ultimate, when it came out, like, I knew a new one was coming because it's like, it's the Nintendo Switch. There's no way they're not gonna have a Smash Brothers for it. And like, even before, like, I heard that it even came out, like, it just came out. Like, it was just like, almost as if like, I just got Smash 4. And then it's almost like 2 weeks later. By the way, because the Switch was already out. By the way, this is now Smash Ultimate. It's like, I just spent like $50 on this fucking thing. Now I have to spend another $60 for.
And it's coming out this
Ultimate.
year. And it's coming out this year when they announced it. Like when they announced it in 2018.
Right.
Sooner we've ever gotten another Smash game besides Smash 64 and Melee. And again, because the Wii U failed and their latest Smash game was stuck on a dead console. So yeah, so a lot of the assets were taken from that and like flipped a little bit. And I still think Smash Ultimate looks pretty great, but I liked how Smash 4 looked a little better. But, you know, Brawl also tried to look realistic in a game with cartoony characters on a non-high definition console, so just aesthetically all very different. So I just remembered so much, and I had to play a guy that was from my region to make it out, who kind of raged against me when he lost. He punched my fist really hard. He's kind of a manic dude. But yeah, no, I was actually really proud of how I did, and I played way more Smash 4, had so much fun shitting on all the Ultimate kids who didn't know anything about the game, which was fun. I'm like, this is peak, right? Y'all are having fun, this is peak. Like, it like became like old man fun time, basically. It'd be like if I was playing with a Brawl player who was like, yeah, this is peak, right? You're having a good time? You're having a good time, right, man? And I'm like, no! What's going on?
But yeah, being bodied left and right. And he's just like getting so, he's like crying, he's like, why am I not winning? I want to win!
I'm better.
I'm better.
Yeah.
I am better.
So it was the Hotel HDR tournament. I got top 32 in Smash 4, which I think is the highest I've placed in any major, but it is technically a side event. You know, it wasn't like the main game like Ultimate,
but still, take your dubs where you can.
I mean, it still had a lot of fucking... It still had a lot of fucking entrants. 344. So honestly,
that's... I don't even give a fuck if it was a side event. That's still, like, hella impressive.
Thank you.
Fuck anyone that says otherwise. That's still crazy.
I lost immediately when getting into top 32 because I had to play a Little Mac, my fucking demon character in that game, because he was the most poorly designed fighting game character ever, and everything he had on the ground was positive and did like 1 million damage on you, but then you got him off stage and he died. Very stupid. Glad they nerfed Little Mac in Ultimate, if I'm keeping it a stack. Even though he was already not a good character. I almost beat that guy too, like, ugh! Like, that's another thing I didn't like about Smash 4. Like, against certain characters, however hard you feel like you needed to camp, wasn't enough. And I love to mash. I like to press buttons, so there were certain matchups where I just couldn't do that, so.
At least he's honest.
Yeah. And I guess the last thing about it, besides the merch, I could put my merch haul on screen. I got a lot of really cool stuff. Let me show you, Dennis. I bought an NES. Like, I never actually owned an NES, and now I have one.
Like an actual...
Yeah, you see it? Top shelf.
Yeah, I see it. Oh, yeah, wow.
I actually own one of those now, and I pretty much have all the Nintendo consoles now, which is pretty hype. Probably the sickest piece of merchandise that I have ever owned in any capacity, and like from buying from any of these events, besides maybe some of the Club Nintendo controllers I got, would be this. I'll put that on screen. The fucking hip flasks. Like those things with the engraving on them. Like literally. Oh. Look, it looks even cooler in person. Look at this fucking shit with the Warrior Brothers on it. And it's perfect because, like, they're D-Gens, so, like, it makes sense that they're on a flask, you know what I mean? Like, because they're the ones who would fucking bring one to, like, be sipping that shit out of. Probably the most beautiful piece of artwork I've ever owned in my life. It's a Justin Wharton print of, Daisy sleeping in a field of flowers, like, watercolors, brush, and shit. And, Dennis told me you should have that framed, and I wasn't planning on doing that, but, you know, that one seems worthy of actually having framed, so I think
Frame it!
Plus paracords and stuff for my controller, a copy of Mario Golf, way too much expensive shit. I blew like $350 on shit at this event.
I mean, well, anytime we go to cons, you're gonna spend money. It's like there's no reason why you like.
I was a kid in a candy store, man. It was bad. And SmashCon is like the best major for vendors. Like it has the most and the best vendors every single time, every fucking time. And they all have vendors, but, like, this one had the most. Like, SmashCon is kind of like the quintessential Smash major in that sense. And every year I doubt it, and every year I go, it's fucking amazing. But, yeah. And I guess the last thing here to conclude my thoughts as we wrap up here. This is gonna sound really creepy, but I'm just gonna power through it. And I need you to power through it with me, Dennis, okay?
Also, I just sent you, like, what the world's Swiss, like, routes look like. Just watch the left and right.
Why, that's an office building.
Yeah.
That looks like...
With the blinds down.
Oh, you could have... Well, actually, that would have created bad glare on the cameras.
It would have, yeah, but it just seems so, like, just... What?
Sheesh, dog. That's bad. I'll put that on screen for when we talk about that going down. Probably not the worst ever. I played in a bathroom.
No, it's not the worst, but it's like, it's Worlds, man. It'd be like if Evo was in a fucking office building.
I'm pretty sure the Melty Blood tournament was at Evo.
Yeah, but Evo's got a proper venue, though.
It's got a proper bathroom, too.
Yeah. This does not.
Dude, imagine walking in to take a shit in, like, the public bathroom, and, like, all these fuckers are just playing Melty Blood on the toilets.
And now imagine, right? It's like, okay, my round's over. I have to go to the bathroom. You have to go outside of the hallway, probably walk down, take a left, and it's actually an office building. You see motherfuckers actually working there on that floor that day.
Like hanging out, just hanging out by the water cooler, be like, yeah, can you believe Carol in HR? Can you believe this shit's going down? Like, fucking hate this fucking car, dude! Like, you hear board flipping in the background. Fucking busted ass fucking card! Ugh! Anyway. Yeah, so this is gonna sound a little creepy, but I'm gonna power through it.
Yes.
I was hoping to learn a lot about myself, like, coming back to SmashCon after so long. After being the last time I was there, I was at a very different place in my life. And, walking around this venue, by myself, just walking around, you know, the venue, looking at all the different stuff, kinda made me horny.
Wait. Guys, before you call him a creepster, let him explain himself.
Yeah, listen. I learned a lot about myself. Because first of all, I'll just keep it a buck. Women go to Smash Majors. They don't really go to locals as much because they're way more tighter knit. There's less people, but enough people there. Or just pretty much only guys to make them uncomfortable. Even at a regional once, you know, a guy tried to follow my girl into the bathroom. That literally happened once at a fucking, like, college regional. That happened once. I had to cast the top 8 of that bracket, so I basically just had her next to me the whole time just to protect me, because I had to do that, and also I wanted to watch over her. I wasn't letting this fucking creep do some shit to her, so literally, no, it was cool. This was before we were dating, so she got to see me, like, work my magic, like, before and everything. Be like,
but that's still, like, following a girl to the bathroom, though. Like,
yeah, I just turned to her, I'm like, yeah, you fucking like that shit? Yeah, you like that shit? You like this voice? The pipes match the drain, you know, you feel me?
You ready to get piped with this voice?
Yeah, but no, like, literally, like, I had to fucking, like, do something about it. It was so fucking creepy. Majors, there's way more people, you know, and as bad as this sounds, you know, like, there's, you know, there's more people to turn to and to go to if somebody is bothering you or harassing you. So way more women go to these things. A lot of guys' girlfriends, a lot of vendors as well. Most of them are even like vendors and stuff who make the art, like make like little charms and stuff. Oh, and I got like some sick bracelets too. I forgot to put like those like bracelets as well. Let me fucking. Like, you know, like those like fucking like charm bracelets I usually wear that like astrology people like, but this one has like NES controller on it.
Yeah.
This one has a fucking N64 on it. Yeah, $15 a piece. So you know I had to buy 3, right? And this one's got fucking Paper Mario.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. So, yeah, I was walking around SmashCon and it made me horny, right? Because not just to be a creep because there were like a ton of women.
You wanted to
there.
Fuck everything that moves.
No. Listen.
With consent, obviously.
It's because I realized something about myself. I was staying in a room with a couple other guys. Shoutouts to Levi and Gabe and Stu, the announcer, as well. A good friend of mine. It was really amazing reconnecting with him after all this time as well. Got to give him his present as well that I was going to get him. It's because I was staying in a room with a bunch of dudes. And dudes make me horny. No, I'm kidding. No, it's because I was staying with a bunch of dudes. So you know what I wasn't doing?
Jerking it.
Yeah. And let me tell you something. When your mind is like full of cum, it makes you see the world a little differently, right? Because I guess my libido is just even more fucking wild than I thought. And when I wasn't jacking off, it made me way more motivated to like just, I don't know, like to just talk to women that I'm interested in. Not in a creepy way, of course, but to just get to know them a little better, hope something maybe blossoms eventually, but not with the intention of that, you know, just to see where things go. Because normally, I usually don't do that unless I'm feeling a certain type way about a girl, or if a girl gives me obvious signals and stuff like that, like, hey, I want you to ask me out, blah, 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 all this stuff, and then I'll do it, right? Like, I'm not a psychopath, but I had this weekend what I can only describe as pre-nut clarity. Like, I was actually motivated to talk to, you know, to be myself and just like talk to women and shit and feel good about it because instead of like the fucking crazy, stupid, irrational modern man who has every fetish that he wants on his phone and jacks off constantly, I returned to a state of the world where we were normal and we only did that occasionally when we felt like we had to or we needed a release or whatever, you know? And it makes me think, you know, like a lot of interactions that guys, I guess, like have with women sometimes can be a little bit motivated by the fact that they're attracted to them. Because a lot of guys like are too scared, or like nerdy guys at like Smash conventions and stuff are too scared to talk to women. You know what I mean? They're too scared to talk to them, too scared to ask them out. They let their attractiveness to them blind them and whatnot. They don't act like normal people. And it's because a lot of them, let's be real, they're kind of addicted to porn. And it made me realize just how fucking bad porn and porn addiction, even more than we were talking about a couple weeks ago, is kind of a problem. I feel like that's really what's stopping guys because like they're just not as motivated to because they don't have that slight touch of horniness that they get from like talking to a woman that they're attracted to. They get all that need satisfied somewhere else, and as a result, they're less motivated to like go for a girl, and then when they don't do it because they're scared or they're not horny enough to talk to her, they beat themselves up for it when inevitably nothing happens because they're too scared to just be themselves with it. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is I think you need a certain tiny amount of horniness to like sort of give you that push, like to talk to a girl that you're attracted to. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you know, you just need like that slight little edge where like, yeah, you know, like I'm talking to you like a normal person, we're having fun or whatever, but I'm very attracted to you deep down and I would love to take you out or have sex with you later on down the line, hopefully. And I think a lot of guys don't do that now. Not only because they're scared, but because they're getting that satisfaction from fucking virtual women, which is unhealthy because that changes their perceptions of actual women, you know, and that's in turn makes them worse with women. It really took this weekend and like having that clarity to make me think, wow, you know, porn addiction is way bigger of a problem I feel in society than I even gave it fucking merit to. Because I don't know, I just had that clarity this weekend. I'm having a hard time describing it, but I think you get I think you get what I'm saying. You know, like you watch too much porn, it warps your perception of women. It makes you in turn worse at talking to them, and it really helped me set in this weekend. Like, wow, porn really does, or over porn consumption really does take you away from actual women. It really does. Like, I was thinking about my fucking hairdresser all weekend, right? Because of like certain women that I see on the screen or whatever, and it made me think like, you know, fuck, she actually is kind of cute. In a way I never thought about her before, because usually when I go there, we just talk, we vibe. I like her a lot. She seems cool, but I never saw her that way. And it took 2 days. Not even. Less than 2 days of not jacking off to actually have that motivation to do something about it.
So did you ask out your hairdresser?
No, I'll talk to her next time I get a haircut.
Oh, okay.
I got a haircut recently, maybe. But here's the thing. And as soon as I got back home and I started like jacking off again, that feeling kind of went away. So it makes me think like, fuck, it's like, where is that balance of getting post-nut clarity out to the point where like you don't date somebody that you're not even really into because you deep down you just want to fuck them, and watching too much porn because it changes your perception of women completely. It took actually traveling somewhere and being in the real world and just walking around and looking at all these gorgeous women that not only made me miss having a girlfriend, because the last time I was at that venue, I was walking around with a girl that I very much loved and stuff. It didn't make me miss her. It made me miss having a girlfriend, even though I feel like, you know, I still kind of need a job first before I have one of those. But you see what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
it took me actually getting out into the world and functioning like a normal human being, not constantly like trying to get my next nut out, or, you know, just not talking to women as if they're not normal people or whatever, like as if they're not just human beings, just with different bodies and genitals and stuff. That really made it different for me. You know, it really changed my perspective on things a lot more than I thought it would. You know, I was even talking to this one woman that I was networking with and stuff like that. She's making like a documentary about Smash and shit. And I was trying to riz her up a little bit, not doing a good job at it, to be honest, because the vibes just weren't really there. Because she was an older lady. You have to like you do a little bit of work on that front, really. But it made me think of like, you know, when the vibes really aren't there, to really not force it as well. Like, it just helped me learn a lot, you know, like of what happens when a man just sort of does and doesn't get his nut. That's why I just think it's fucking insane that No Nut November is kind of a thing. It kind of makes me understand why guys do it now. If I'm being honest, it really does change a man's perspective fucking drastically when he's not regularly ejaculating. As dumb as that is, it's completely true.
Until December.
It took walking around until December. And it took walking around a Smash Major with a bunch of gorgeous women around, if I'm just keeping it a stack. I almost actually went, they do karaoke there, and I was going to do karaoke, and I was going to try to swoon some people. You know, I was going to sing my way, you know, like, you know, fucking drop the panties like my voice usually does and shit. But, you know, when I went there, I'm like, you know, no, there's like no women there. Like, I'm not gonna sing this song with a bunch of dudes.
Don't want to give the wrong impression to this crowd.
The girls that were, yeah, exactly. And also the girls that were there, you know, had boyfriends. You know, a lot of guys bring their girlfriends to that shit. I did when I was with somebody.
Did you ever watch that scene in Rush Hour where it was Rush Hour 2? Chris Tucker goes to like this like Chinese gangster triad like fucking bar, and like all these guys are like hardened ass criminals. And like he goes to the karaoke stage and like he's trying to like, as he's singing don't stop till you get enough, keep on, and then like he's like looking at all these like gangsters like girlfriends and shit, and like he's just like asking them to like come up on stage.
Oh my god. And
it's just like to the point where like, you know, like this guy's gonna disappear like the next fucking day. Like his arms and legs are about to be chopped off and about to be sent to all corners of the world in like vats. Like just gonna be Heisenberged off the fucking planet. And all I'm imagining is like if you were just like a bit more of a douchebag, you would like make eye contact with like these taken women and just wink at him as like you're fucking singing.
Oh my god. So there's like chopping them up. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, like all the dudes in that crowd just fucking hit you.
Like while they're chopping them up, they'll be like, oh, did you get enough? Do you want us to not stop? Have you had enough? Fucking A. So yeah, that was my SmashCon. I learned a lot about myself, more than I even thought I would, and I went there to hopefully learn some stuff about myself. Because again, the last time I was there,
yourself.
and enjoy myself. The last time I was there, I was in a very different state of mind, very different place. Networked a lot by accident. If I'm keeping it a stack, because all the networking I did in the Smash community was basically by accident, as most networking I feel kind of should be.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Hotel HDR tournament, top 32, Smash 4. Walking around the venue, walking around the venue, seeing actual women at these things, making me feel all certain types of way. Played in a bathroom. Yeah.
I still cannot get over that.
There's the plugs. You ever take a shit while playing Smash? Smash 3DS doesn't count. Or playing it on the fucking Switch on handheld does not count.
Do you think there is like 2 people out there still who's still playing like Smash Ultimate, like not Smash Ultimate, but like Smash on 3D, Smash for 3DS?
It's literally the most useless Smash game now. Like
it really is.
Which, by the way, again, only reason they even made it in the first place. 3DS sold a fuck ton. Wii U did not. So that's literally the only reason they even did that shit.
That is true.
Yeah. All right, we're done. There's the plugs. Please don't call me a creep for being horny at a Smash tournament. I didn't act on it. I didn't do
Here
nothing
we go,
bad.
guys. He's going to be defending himself.
I was in my hotel room.
This.
I wanted to wait because I was going to the gym. I wanted to go to the hotel gym, and then I realized I had the room to myself. I'm like, fuck, I could just let up all this pent-up nut that's been coming for a lot of days.
Oh, did you go to the gym when you were there?
Yeah.
Oh, look at my boy out here. The grind never stops. Let's go.
Amen, brother. I had the little shitty hotel gym, like, all to myself. It was great. I didn't even have to put headphones in. Like, I just played the music out of my fucking, like, phone speakers.
There was nobody there, huh? Like,
Nope.
just absolutely nobody.
Nope. It was a tiny little hallway with, like, 4 different, like, cardio machines and like 2 5-pound weights, 2 10-pound dumbbells, and 1 15.
Yo, that's not even a gym. That's like a fucking babysitter's like fucking like, oh yeah, go ahead, go nuts. Like, go, your 5-pound weights, go ahead, go.
It's a gym bow is what it is. God. All right, well, plugs for real this time. Here they are. Follow us on Twitter, X, Double D Power. We got some new followers on there recently, so thank you all for helping boost those numbers a little bit. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
On Instagram, at the Double D Experience 21. More than anything else, please subscribe here at youtube.com/Nintoonist. I know that's where most of you watch. And please listen to us as well on wherever you get your podcasts, like on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that stuff. And specifically on the first 2, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you could very quickly, just leave us a good review. You don't even have to write anything. And in fact, on Spotify, you can't. You can't even like leave word reviews. It's just star reviews. So if you could just give us literally 2 clicks of your time. You've probably done more clicks in the time it takes me to finish this fucking sentence. If you could just go to Spotify, double the experience, hit that 5-star button because I know you fuckers love this shit. That would actually mean a lot to us. That helps boost our SEO a lot, and among other things. So if you like this podcast and you're like, why don't you guys have more listeners? That's on you guys. Help us help us help you. Make it grow. If you saw me at SmashCon and stopped me to say hi, I appreciate that. I'm glad so many people still enjoy my old videos. I mean, there's a lot of people I know who became casters that even, knew me from those videos and didn't even know I played Smash or was in their area as well, and I even commentated with them at events. It really blows my mind how many more people saw those than I even think. They were more impactful than I guess I even fucking realized, even though it was just some dumbass's opinion of, like, the fucking game on the internet. But whatever. Now you're listening to some guy's dumbass opinions on other things on his podcast. So who's the real dumbass? Still me.
You.
No, it's still me if I'm keeping it a stack. Alright, we love y'all. Don't be plastic like those fucking bitches and bastards in that movie.
But be fantastic.
Be fantastic.
You can brush my hair.
Undress
touch me everywhere.
That's the actual lyric, undress me everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah. I literally found that out too.
Fuck?
I know, that song's horny as fuck. I mean, it was just like that time. Like, it's like that same era when we had like, ooh, you touch my ta-la-la.
Oh, I forgot about that song.
My ding-ding-dong. It's the same era. It's the same fucking song, really.
The 60s were a different time, man.
It was horny fucking times, let me tell you.
You can touch my head, undress me everywhere.